So welcome back. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've elected not to use Tester's rubber because it's kind of brownish. I'm using Tamiya's XF85 rubber black. So I'll go ahead and paint these on, these two hoses. However, I realized after I had done my previous video that this part here, this is going to need to be clear coated and decals applied to it before I do any gold, because I want the gold to go on last. I want it to be the shiny gold, so what I want to do is just put a semi-gloss coat on this, and I want all of the gold to match, so the gold enamel is going to go on last. So hand brushing some of the stuff is going to have to wait till later. So I will go ahead and paint these two hoses, but then I'm going to have to I will need to do a clear coat of Future before really proceeding with the model. Okay, what I'm doing now is the instructions called for neutral gray, Mr. Color 13, for the joints and such. So I've thinned it out with Mr. Color leveling thinner, and I'm hand brushing all these parts in here. And for the most part, they look pretty nice, I think. They might need to go over maybe a second or third time, just real lightly. But it's looking pretty nice. The leveling thinner helps minimize the brush work, the brush marks, I should say. So, okay, so what I have to do is bend the legs in order to get inside the little joints and stuff here to paint all this in here. And then once I'm done in here, bend it this way and then paint on the inside here, being very careful not to touch the pink. So, I mean, because it's lacquer and it has the lacquer thinner in it, it might kind of eat away at the pink paint, strip it a little bit. And that's exactly what happened in a couple of spots. So what I'm using is just the working bottle I have here, and I'm using that to do any touch-ups as necessary. My hands are fairly steady, and I am able to paint in here with little difficulty. Oh, see, there we go. Got some on the thing just now. See, it's got a little stain here. I'll just do a little bit of touch-up with the pink paint later, after I'm done here. There. Okay, done here. So, there. Just bend this back. And just get all the paint in there. Yay! So with a little bit of touch-up, I'm able to remove the gray where I accidentally bumped some. This was thinned down for airbrushing, so just a tiny little bit left in the jar here. Just applying it lightly here with a crappy paint brush. Should probably use a better brush than this, but it seems to be getting the job done. Okay, now setting this brush aside and picking up a fine point brush. And it's time to work on the really small details, and for that reason I did a bit of masking here on this part here. I think these are like little parts that go around the arms or the hands or something or other. A little putty came undone. There we go. So, yeah, just gonna brush this on, nice and neat. Greg is painting with his paintbrush, and he likes to play Sakura Taisen. Neat stuff and things. I like to build plastic models. I'm careful not to destroy the pink paint underneath this neutral gray paint. That's coming along nicely, as long as I don't drop this thing. Let's see if I can clip this or something. Hopefully this isn't going to eat the paint. It's probably going to wear on the paint here. What should I use? What should I use? We'll gently grab this little part. Maybe this is better to hold it with. Maybe. As long as it doesn't fling across the room. Yeah, okay, cool. I think I can hold it easier. More easily this way. There we go. Yeah, it's coming along pretty nicely. So yeah, I just want to get the sides without having the paint kind of splorch everywhere and make a mess. There. Now the only tricky part is just going to be just getting the inside here. There. Just gently. I think I'm going to use my magnifying glass here to get this done right. I see where I made a little tiny mistake, but I might be able to cover that up a little bit. I'm really glad I got this magnifying lamp. Very nice investment, I think. I guess I'm done with this part here. Now, the finger joints are going to be a little bit difficult. I'll have to do that next. Okay, so next, going back to the burnt iron, and this time I'll be hand painting. Let's dilute this a bit so that it'll brush on well. Now what I want to do is get these exhaust pipes and paint on the inside there. It should be easy just to kind of splorch it in there. I'm guessing. So, get my fairly larger paintbrush again. I just need to be careful not to get the lip. Don't want to get the paint on the outside. Just running it through here. And it's too thin. Oh golly. Okay. I added too much center. Oh crap. Got paint on my fingers. There, that should do it, I think. Okay. Make sure my hands are clean. Okay. Okay, so here we go. You know, I'm just gonna take these off here. I don't need to have these on there. Just remove them for now. My hands are clean. I'm not gonna leave any residue, I don't think. So let's splorch, splorch, splorch. Paint all on the inside here. There. There. Okay, it's looking nice. I'll come back to it. Let that dry in there and give it another visit. Splorch, splorch, splorch. Splorch, splorch, splorch. Nice. I think. There we go. Nice. Next. So it's kind of nice just to have a pretty wet paintbrush and just cram a bunch of paint in there and then spread it around afterwards as I go along. I think that kind of works out well. I saw the Lord of the Rings movie, The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug, yesterday. It wasn't released in Japan until February 28th. The first Hobbit movie was released almost simultaneously in Japan, but the second movie, they waited a couple of months. It was released in December in the United States, but Japan did not get it until February 28th, and so yesterday was March 1st, and I saw it in the theater. It was pretty awesome. I really like it. Some people are complaining, but I love it. I love it, love it, love it. People don't really seem to realize that, you know, they're accusing Peter Jackson of padding the story, but the original person to really pad the story was Tolkien himself. He was making it up as he went along. You know, it's obvious when you read the Lord of the Rings books and such. I mean, The Hobbit was probably the best standalone as it was, but, you know, even in The Hobbit, they just throw out stuff like Moria, and you're like, well, what's Moria? And then it doesn't get fleshed out till later, so it makes perfect sense to explore that kind of stuff in this movie. This new trilogy of Hobbit movies. So I am completely in love with them. You know, if they want to drag it out into 2 movies and then later 3 movies, you know, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that. I read the book. It's been like over 10 years since I last read it, but it's really, really great what they're doing with these movies. I really don't have any complaints, because, you know, for example, the Battle of the Five Armies, which I'm looking forward to in this next movie. Bilbo gets knocked unconscious, and, you know, he's woken later, and then, like, all his dwarf friends, like half of them are dead, and, you know, Thorin Oakenshield is on his deathbed and all that kind of stuff. That does not make for good cinema. They're going to have to embellish it a bit more, and with a huge climactic army battle like that, the Battle of Five Armies, and then you miss out on most of it, that's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I can excuse it for the book, but for the movie, though, they need to do more than that for a movie. So I expect the new movie is going to be pretty huge. Oh, that's too loud. Loop back to the very first track. So anyhow, yeah, I have no problem with adding Legolas to this movie because it makes sense, because he was a wood elf, and they implied it in the you know, the Lord of the Rings, because he's a woodland elf. So it's pretty cool. I like how they showed that the woodland elves culture is different than, like, Galadriel's elves and stuff like that. So, they're a bit more intense than like in Rivendell, for example. Anyhow, I think I'm pretty much done here. Kind of wasted some paint, but oh well. Let me just go through all this a second or third time as necessary. So that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention about The Hobbit and such. Tolkien went back and explored a lot of the different gaps and stuff in the appendices. He wrote a whole bunch of backlogs, and he retconned a bunch of this stuff to kind of all fit together. So there's a lot of supplemental material, and there's a lot of it that Peter Jackson is pulling from in order to make these movies. So it's pretty cool. Okay, something I just noticed. It says here in Japanese, for the right hand, you need to cut off this little peg off one of the fingers here. So I got, no, the robot has only 3 fingers per hand. So what it's talking about is this little tab here. It needs to be removed off of one of them. I believe the reason behind that, I think, is that there's the left hand. I'd have to look it up or something. I don't know if there's like a Wikipedia or whatever about Sakura Taisen, but I believe Sakura is left-handed, because you see here she's holding the sword left-handed. I believe that the little peg here is to help hold the sword in place, I think. So it's not necessarily on the right hand. So what we can do is get the little nippers here, and just have to try to cut this off. I'm going to try to keep this on the runner though. It'd be one less thing to hassle with. So let's cut this off. Great. Now what I think I'll do is sand this a little bit here, so I can get my sanding sponge and sand it down a little bit. Then, I don't think it's going to really matter very much though, it wouldn't be very highly noticeable in a clenched palm. But what I'll have to do is maybe hand paint the pink right there. And in fact, I'm going to have to do that anyways though, because these are all attached here and not really on the, because I believe like that's the thumb. I need to have him held here. I should carefully remove these small pieces here. There. Good thing I kept that leftover paint in there. It's nice and thinned out for airbrushing. It has dried up a little bit, but what remains is thick enough for not airbrushing, but paint brushing. Okay, so let's do some clear coating. Now, I was planning on just using Future, but considering how tough the eyes were on, I cut out the eyes. See, there's another. It came with 2 in case I screwed up. So I'm going to keep these around so I can just use them as an excuse just to sing "Eyes Without a Face." like Billy Idol, except I'm not as cool as he is, obviously. Anyhow, it took a long time to soak these things, and I'm not so sure about how well they're going to meld with the model. So I might have to use some heavy artillery to, as a softer. Now I use Mr. Mark Softer, but in case it doesn't get soft enough, I'm going to use Mark Fit Strong. Tamiya's Mark Fit Strong. This is for stubborn decals. I understand that the Polar Lights decals are similarly difficult. So if I'm going to be using that, I might not want to use Future. I want to use something stronger. Since I've already done this with lacquer paint, I'm going to use Mr. Super Clear Gloss. This is lacquer. It should hopefully protect everything. So let me get my goggles here. Put my mask on. I've already shaken it pretty well. So we'll just get started here. Okay. So, I haven't touched this in a while. Make sure there's no dust. Okay. Oh crap! Little thing fell off the stick. Give him the stick. Don't give him the stick. You know my Sonic? Ooh. So I'm just going to do all of the whole parts of the body. For most of them. So I want to do like a semi-gloss finish. But I'm not sure exactly where all of the details are going to be applying to. So I might as well just do a clear coat first of everything. Yeah, a clear coat of glass. And because I probably want to do some panel lining in there to bring up the detail of those vents or whatever the hell they are. I might do some decals here, so I might just do the whole thing, I guess, at this point. Now I want to do some panel lines in there. Might as well make it nice and super glassy for that. Okay, so here we go. I believe I'm finished. It's nice and glossy, so I'm just going to let these sit for a while. And then maybe sometime later on this afternoon or this evening, I can get started on decaling perhaps. I'm working on the Lost in Space robot at the same time. You'll probably see that video before this ever makes to the internet. So, yeah. Stay tuned.